When the forest seemed endless and full of secrets, I ventured into it alone, thinking it would be a simple hunt or a walk in the wilderness. As the sun began to set, casting a crimson-orange glow over the trees, a fog began to descend, obscuring the paths and roots. I walked slowly, listening to the sounds of the forest, the rustling of leaves, the cries of birds, and the occasional crack of branches. But soon, all the sounds faded away, as if the forest had held its breath, and only my heartbeat echoed through the trees. I didn't notice how I had wandered far into the forest. Suddenly, something flashed between the trees, a dark figure, huge, with long, curved horns. My heart stopped. It was a deer, but not just any deer. Its eyes glowed red, as if a fire was burning inside, and every step it took left a faint shimmer in its wake, as if the ground could not bear its presence. I stood still, thinking it was a figment of my imagination, but the darkness of the forest and the chill that seeped into my bones told me that it was not a dream. The deer froze in place, looked straight at me, and I felt a strange pressure, as if it were looking into my soul. I heard my own thoughts, and they seemed foreign, inverted, and filled with fear. I took a step back, but the roots beneath my feet tripped me, and I fell to the ground. When I looked up, the deer was gone. I listened, but the silence was deafening. I tried to remember the way back, but the forest had become unfamiliar. The trees seemed taller and darker, and the paths had disappeared. Every step I took echoed with a dull thud, as if the ground itself was trying to warn me. Suddenly, I heard a rustling behind me. I turned around and saw a silhouette, a deer standing in a small clearing, but it was larger now, its antlers almost touching the treetops, and its breath sounded like thunder. I felt that he was calling to me, beckoning me, and my fear was mixed with a strange curiosity. I moved forward, not knowing why. Every step seemed endless, and the forest changed around me. The trees bent, the branches reached out like arms, and the ground beneath my feet became soft like moss. The deer stopped, and in that moment, I noticed something else. Its mouth was open, but there were no teeth. Instead, there was a dark and empty void that glowed. I froze, feeling a chill that penetrated my skin and bones. Snow or fog? I couldn't tell. Everything was trembling, and I could hear voices, whispers like the breath of the wind, but I could understand the words. They whispered of oblivion, of how the forest belonged to him, and how anyone who came would become a part of him. I tried to run, but my legs wouldn't move, and the forest swallowed me up. I could feel his eyes following my every move, as if he knew my fears better than I did. And then he moved. Not running, not leaping, but like a shadow, gliding across the ground. His antlers reflected the sunset, creating strange patterns on the ground, and I realized that this deer was not an animal. He was the forest. He was death. He was time itself, frozen in this place. I screamed, but no sound came out of my throat. The forest was silent, except for the whispers that grew louder, almost mocking. I fell to the ground, and the deer was right in front of me. Its eyes were shining, and I could see everything in them. My fears, my mistakes, everything I had tried to forget. It tilted its head, and I felt something pulling me into its gaze, into the abyss. I knew that I could not escape, that the forest would not let me go. And suddenly, there was silence. Only the rustling of the leaves, a gentle breeze, as if nothing had happened. I lay on the cold ground, shivering, and looked at the empty clearing. The deer was gone. I stood up and looked around, but the forest had returned to normal. The paths were in place again, and the light of the setting sun fell softly on the ground. But something had changed within me. Something remained in the darkness, deep within the forest, something that had followed me. I left the forest, but every sound, every shadow, made me turn around. Sometimes I thought I could see red eyes burning in the distance, among the trees. I know it's that deer, and I know it's waiting for me to dare to return to the forest again, because the forest belongs to it, and maybe one day I won't make it out. And now, as the night falls over the city, and the wind howls outside my window, I can hear a faint rustling behind the wall. I don't know if it's the wind or footsteps, but deep down I know that the forest and the deer haven't gone anywhere, and maybe they never will.